Good morning, everybody. My name is John Wanaina Karanja. I'm the CEO of Melanin Solar, a company based in East Africa, building a peer-to-peer distributed network on blockchain for energy. I'm also a co-host at the Black Blockchain Summit through our community blockchain accelerator called BitHub Africa. And I'm very happy to be with you guys here for the 5th anniversary of the Black Blockchain Summit. Today, I have sort of a masterclass on driving sustainable energy solutions in Black communities globally. And I'll be taking you through sort of a theoretical exercise as well as a practical exercise on how we can leverage blockchain technology and cryptocurrency to drive the adoption of energy amongst Black people. So I'll begin with sort of a brief history of what we do. As I mentioned before, we are driving sustainable energy access across Africa. We believe there's been a huge shift due to the pandemic, and open source technologies are coming into fore to drive the adoption of solutions. We've seen a lot of solutions in the financial services space with distributed or decentralized finance. And now we're going to see sort of innovations in the energy space with decentralized energy or distributed energy solutions. I've been operating in the Bitcoin space and blockchain space in East Africa for the past, actually now 9 years. And we have built sort of a robust community that has seen countries like Kenya, where I'm from, become the leading countries in terms of adoption of blockchain technology. Kenya, I believe, Nigeria are number 1 and 2 into peer-to-peer finance using Bitcoin. And we're very proud of these achievements. And we think that this adoption can be extended into other key areas that affect Black people around the world. And one of the huge challenges we have is access to reliable energy. So our long-term vision as a company is to connect about 500,000 households to our distributed peer-to-peer energy market by 2025. And I'll be taking you through how we intend to do that. The energy market in Africa alone is 2 trillion. This is the potential size of this market that is untapped. And blockchain, together with Internet of Things, IoT, smart technology, machine learning, and artificial intelligence will drive the adoption of these technologies. 17% of the world population lives in Africa, and Africa has the fastest growth in terms of population, with countries like Nigeria leading. And we want to be able to see how we can leverage this technology to bring about reliable access to energy with these, within these communities. The challenge we have is solar systems are very expensive. You can see the crisis in Europe in terms of the war in Ukraine and Russia. It has made the access to energy a huge challenge. They have invested a lot in renewables, but the cost of renewables is still not at parity with the cost of oil or nuclear energy. So we believe at Melanin Solar, the gap is there because of a technological problem. We need to bring down the cost of solar PV panels, but we also need to leverage those panels and utilize them to the maximum levels. So solar vendors are forced to sell their solar products to consumers who are mostly farmers using debt-driven instruments. This could be lease agreements or hire purchase. And a lot of times, these people who are mostly farmers again are not able to pay for the for the solar systems, and they enter into debt. And sometimes these systems get repoed, so they don't even get the benefit of access to energy. This is a huge problem. So how do we begin to solve this problem? There is an article on the World Economic Forum website. This is about maybe 4 years ago, which was sort of talking about how cryptocurrency mining could become the new face of energy storage. And I think the article, if I recall, went into how mining taps into wasted energy. So you have a lot of idle energy that is not utilized. This could be from the gas flares where you see like gas burning. That energy is now being tapped to mine industrial scale cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, converting energy from one form to another form. In this case, it's being turned from a natural resource, which is gas, into a cryptocurrency token, which is Bitcoin. So we've taken the same concept and sort of innovated around it for now renewable energy, which is more sustainable in the future. I think it's important to look at the financial sort of adoption of Bitcoin over the last 13 years of its existence. As I mentioned before, we have countries like Nigeria, which are leading. In 2020, during the pandemic, they were able to move $500,000 from the diaspora to Nigeria. And this was able to help a lot of families in Nigeria be able to sustain themselves during the pandemic. Bitcoin as a settlement monetary network in the same year has been moving huge amounts of money cost effectively. You can move, there's an example of somebody moving $2.4 billion for a cost of $26. Try to do that with the traditional financial system, what we call TradeFi. There's going to be a huge cost because you have to think of the carbon footprint of all these buildings, of all these sort of high towers in every major city, New York, Nairobi, London. These are being disrupted by blockchain technology. So the energy you see going into mining Bitcoin, for example, is cheaper than the energy that we use to deploy brick and mortar facilities, such as the banking halls and the banking institutions. We're moving from brick and mortar into a digital space for monetary settlement. Bitcoin mining is currently using about 56% renewables. Of course, that can always be improved in the energy mix. But again, because it's addressing wastage in terms of brick and mortar, you actually find that Bitcoin mining is actually more cost effective, though we acknowledge that we can always improve the adoption of renewables. So the community that we sort of nurtured over the past 7 years worked with individuals from the United States. We have worked with Professor Todd Shan, who is a resident professor at Howard University in the computer science department, who wrote the green paper for a protocol that utilizes CPU power or small mobile computing power to do the same thing that Bitcoin is doing, to convert idle energy, in this case solar energy, for the most part, into a digital token, which we're now calling the WIVE token. The WIVE token has actually a 150-year mining schedule. It's been mined for about 2 years. Most of the rewards will be issued in 20 years. And it has a maximum supply of 100 million. We've seen people over 20 plus countries in all continents mine WIVE and join the network and support the network. Encapsulated immutably in the Genesis block. As we all know, blockchains that are secured by proof of work are largely immutable. So for this particular blockchain, the community decided to encapsulate the SDGs 7, 9, 11, and 13, which talk about the sustainable adoption of energy, climate action, clean innovation in terms of energy, as well as industrialization and smart cities, all covered within these sustainable development goals. So the opportunity is homes, really. Homes are mostly for farmers. I mentioned before, by the year 2025, we want to be able to go to 500,000 households. We already know that there are 700,000 existing solar sites on the continent of Africa. We've looked at different areas where Black communities in particular exist, or indigenous communities. And the countries are, for example, Zambia, Malawi, Congo, Nigeria, Rwanda, Kenya, and the Caribbean countries, Aruba, Haiti. There's a huge need by Black communities who are what we call energy deficient. So we want to be able to deploy these solutions there, powered by blockchain technology. So our solution is essentially what we call a smart box. I have an example here. These are early prototypes. We're just using normal CPU devices, but we are designing and building a custom device that removes trust using blockchain technology for accountability, brings down transaction costs by leveraging the Lightning Network, the peer-to-peer Lightning Network, decentralizes production and transmission and consumption of solar energy, and provides direct access to distributed solar energy, allowing multiple solar providers, whom we call prosumers, to store excess energy. And of course, with the stored energy in a digital form, you can now open peer-to-peer markets where transactions are transparent, verifiable, and secure. So we also do, this is something that we've traditionally done a lot at PTAB Africa, which is training of engineers. We've trained a number of engineers. You can see an example there. We have electrical engineers working with a blockchain engineer. We have Simon there, and they're able to deploy this system in a village, Maasai village in East Africa. If you're curious about who the Maasai are, they dress like this. So this is like a statue of a Maasai person. And we also give these statues as awards at the Black Blockchain Summit. So how do we get the word out for this technology? Under Melanin, we've built a platform called Nukia. Nuki means bee in Swahili. And the slogan is a sustainable world. It is a metaverse where we are leveraging NFTs to drive the adoption of this technology. So there we have some NFTs of some famous Black people. I can see Kunzinga there. I can see Dedan Kimathi being represented there by NFT. I can see Nelson Mandela and Harriet Tubman. These NFTs are inspired by those people. And if you hold a Nukia NFT, you're able to get one of these boxes when they're ready. And then you can begin to sort of plug them into your solar unit and mine using excess energy, converting them into the Wive coin or Wive cryptocurrency. So we're now going to go into the practical exercise where we sort of play around with the technology. So allow me to stop sharing my screen and share my other screen. Just a second. So here we go. So this is a screen of the Wive website. This is, again, the community project built by developers around the world. You can visit wive.io and can take you to the homepage for a second. You can see, it's SIP GPU and ASIC resistant. It's a Bitcoin descendant, meaning that it was forked from the Bitcoin code. The Bitcoin code is open source, and a lot of thousands of projects have been developed from the Bitcoin code. Bitcoin is the father of blockchain and cryptocurrencies. It's transparent and accountable. I'll show you sort of a demo of the Blockchain Explorer. You can download the green paper that's written by Professor Todd Shan. This is a typical CPU from a Raspberry Pi. You can come here and sort of open the guides and learn how to mine. There's a guide. If you're an experienced Linux operator, you can deploy a node very easily. Wive has wallets. Wive is also available on exchanges. It's trading on peer-to-peer markets, as I mentioned before. And there are a lot of data aggregators for transparency. So I'll take you now to the Explorer. So you click here, and you have the Explorer. You can see it is a network hash of 428.688 at the moment. that is in kilo hashes per second, meaning it's a widely distributed blockchain. And all of this is efficient, idle, and utilized CPU power. So I can take you to the network. You can see the countries that are mining Wave: Kenya, Indonesia, Brazil, United States, United Kingdom, Indonesia again, Canada, Sweden, Venezuela, France, Ukraine, wow, Turkey, Mauritius, China, Canada, United States, Netherlands, United States and Netherlands appear to be the majority, together with the United Kingdom and Germany, Brazil, Indonesia. Yeah, so we've seen a lot of Kenya as well. Historically, we've seen a lot of countries like Mozambique, Ghana, Nigeria come in. But we have to keep, as a community, the Black Blockchain Summit community, driving the adoption of protocols that are being developed by Black people, either in full or in part, like the Wave protocol, and begin to have a presence so that it's not only people from the West who are benefiting from this technology. So this is one of the things that we've tried to do with the summit, is educate as many people as possible. Yes, so this is another Explorer, which has the tools for those who want to geek out on the tools. And now we're going to sort of look at what our wallet looks like. This is the mining pool. We can see it has 52 miners. These are 52 miners mining at the moment. And then finally, this is Melanin Solar, my company, where we're building the smart box that leverages the Wave protocol. So before I go into the actual demo, one of the things I'd like to announce for the Black Blockchain community is our Trivia application, which is being launched today at the summit. So you can go to play.nuki.com, play.nuki.com, sign up, play Trivia. The trivia is on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Wave, NFTs, solar energy, and sustainability. These are the key topics that we want to educate people on. So it's a very simple game where you choose the correct answer, and you begin to earn points, and these points can be withdrawn for Wave coins. So this is an initiative that we are launching at the summit to drive the adoption of blockchain knowledge, to fight scams, and to increase awareness about key projects that are addressing sustainability and access to energy within Black communities. So I'll take you to the wallet briefly. So I'll share my screen. This is what a Wave wallet looks like. I installed it earlier. It's very easy to install on Windows and Linux. I believe the Wave code developers are releasing one for Macintosh, for our friends in the United States. It's been hotly requested. And now I'll sort of demonstrate how mining looks like. So I'm coming to run the miner. Let me run the miner and see. There we go. And then let me share the screen. So that's what a miner looks like. And as I wind up, we'll wait for some Waves to be mined. You can see I have opened a thread of 4,096 hashes and contributed 0.2745 with the laptop I'm using to present. So this is what sort of an efficient, sustainable blockchain is trying to achieve, to leverage idle CPU mining power. And we're just going to wait for a successful mind share. And hopefully that will happen before my time is up. I believe I have 1 or 2 minutes. Let's see if we get this. Very interesting. So here we go. Another one has been generated, and I have an accepted hash very quickly within 2 minutes for 0.2, and it says yay. So with that, I've come to the end of my presentation. Do enjoy the rest of the summit. You have sort of a big day ahead with many great speakers. I look forward to joining the sessions as well. Asante sana, and thank you for joining us at the Black Blockchain Summit.